When talking about a game like Death Stranding, there's quite a lot of things we could discuss, from the intriguing and captivating story to the hands-on gameplay. But one thing strikes me more than anything else when I sit down to play this game. It's how utterly alone we are. When we think of the word alone, our mind jumps to the absence of others, a state of isolation without a single human in sight. Death Stranding certainly meets this definition, but the angle it takes is far deeper. I'd like to break the gameplay down into small segments, moments that truly made me feel alone. From the silent presence of BB to the faint echoes of other players' messages, Death Stranding conjures a sense of isolation like no other game. Without further ado, let's begin. In a world completely desolate of humanity, where even most ports are populated only by holograms, a key character in your story is BB, a baby that detects invisible BT ghost-like enemies and warns you of their presence. Although BB's abilities are crucial, a lot of the times he often feels like a burden. Interactions with BB are rare, and when they happen, they're usually overshadowed by negativity. You'll find yourself soothing BB after a fall, backtracking to your personal room when he shuts down from stress, or feeling a spike in tension whenever BB activates and signals nearby threats. Though BB's assistance is invaluable, the stress he brings often amplifies the sense of helplessness. However, it's not the challenges BB presents that amplify the feeling of isolation. It's actually in his rare moments of kindness. If you make it through a BT area without getting attacked or stressing BB, he will sometimes tap you on your shoulder and give you a thumbs up, or even clap for you. The first time this happened, I felt genuinely happy. In a world so desolate that human connection is a luxury, BB's tiny robotic thumbs up carries an unexpected weight. In Death Stranding, accolades are extremely rare to come by, and when they happen, it's usually digitally or through holograms. The rare moments you see it in person are only if you've gone out of your way to help somebody. BB is the only force within the game to congratulate you on the basic accomplishment for survival. After hours of viewing BB as a burden, I was struck by the reality that he is the only being who genuinely cares about Sam, without any motivation or expectation. This stark truth highlights how often we feel underappreciated. Personally, it reflects the feeling of being wanted or liked only when you accomplish something for someone else. Death Stranding does not shy away from this sentiment. Throughout the game, you're treated like a workhorse, serving purposes that benefit larger, more significant goals. In a world where you're alone and isolated, the only one looking out for you is someone who can neither speak nor touch you. Something as simple as a baby. Without spoiling anything, there is a certain part in the game where BB can't be with you for a short time. Not only does this amplify the feeling of isolation, pressing the button to call out now prompts Sam not to seek other players, but to reassure BB that he'll return soon.
I'll see you soon.
Sam will also passively comment about missing BB frequently.
I need to stay without you, kid.
It's safe to say that this portion of the game genuinely felt the most isolating and upsetting. It really made you realize how different everything felt with BB by your side. I've never played a game that made me feel so connected to other human beings in real life while having no way to contact or communicate with them. When I come across a well-placed ladder or generator, I genuinely feel thankful that somebody took time to place it and maintain it. A well-timed message warning you of mules or BTs feels like having someone looking out for you, even though they're never going to see, speak with, or touch you. While this connection feels refreshing and warming, it can also amplify isolation when you encounter areas devoid of messages or online placements. Taking a shortcut through the mountains and pressing 5 to hear Sam yell, "I'm here," only to hear nothing back is genuinely haunting. There have been times when I've purposely pressed this button just to know that someone else has walked the path I'm on, that I'm not doing this alone, and while you may receive a response 60% of the time, when you don't, you truly feel isolated and begin to question whether you're on the right path. To me, this reflects our daily lives as we search for others at our level, finding solace in knowing that others are in the same boat, sometimes even struggling like we are. In times of need, we often neglect the things that bring us joy in search of people who can relate to our predicament. After all, wouldn't a lonely person want someone who understands their situation? So, while we may yell and search for those on our path, sometimes we might never find them. Although most players might gloss over this aspect, it highlights an essential part of human nature. The number of messages left in various areas show that other people also love helping those treading the same path. When I first started playing Death Stranding, I heard a song that really stuck with me, Don't Be So Serious by Low Roar. It didn't take long for me to frantically search my menu for a music player. Surely a game centered around slow-paced walking would let me listen to its soundtrack at will. I was wrong. Death Stranding purposefully rejects distractions, both auditory and visual. Everything you need to focus on is wonderfully complex and slow-paced, while everything you don't need is stripped down to the basics. This denial of auditory distraction serves to further isolate you. After all, as a porter, you rarely have the chance to think about yourself or rest when you could be completing a lost transit mission. You must keep moving at all times. Out of respect for this design choice, I deliberately stopped myself from listening to music, podcasts, or live streams while playing, a decision I've never made for any other game. Another way the game controls the player's experience is by integrating everything into cohesive gameplay. When you want to switch weapons, time only slows down, never stops. Checking your messages happens directly on Sam's wrist, not through a traditional pause menu. You can't look away because you must balance your cargo. If you trip or fall, you get penalized. This isn't a game where you can take a quick 5 seconds to have a drink or bite into your lunch. You have to either stop or risk failure. As you traverse the landscape, there's no escaping the atmosphere crafted by Kojima. Everything feels interconnected. Everything feels like movement without distraction. The effect of these mechanics were at times glaring, yet often subconscious. This interconnected movement made me forget that Sam was a human and that I was playing a game. As I rushed to deliver parcels, maintain my balance, plot my routes, and repair my boots to do it all again, I lost sight of the fact that this was just a video game. I began to find joy in placing a generator where other structures were lacking, and in BB's pride when I evaded BTs. I started to forget that we were alone. At one point during my gameplay, Sam hunched over to catch his breath, prompting me to let him rest. When I did, the game suggested it might be time for me to take a break too. It was in that moment that I was reminded I was indeed playing a game. I looked at Sam as he lay resting, cuddled up with BB, and realised I had started to share in his stress, urgency, and role. Yet, in this trade-off, I forgot that both he and I were humans who were completely isolated. At first, Norman Reedus seemed like an unusual choice for the protagonist of a long 40-plus hour game. Known primarily as Daryl Dixon in The Walking Dead, he's often praised or criticised for his economy of words, relying more on grunts and gestures than dialogue. But the longer I played, the more I realised Norman was perfect for this role. He embodies a lone wolf who rarely speaks, and when he does, it's mostly to himself. In most games where the character is isolated for long stretches, protagonists are often charismatic or quick-witted, constantly making observations to break the silence. Norman defies this mould. He's a master of silence, and even more so, of loneliness. When Sam speaks while journeying through the world, whether thanking those who helped him or calling into the void for comfort, his words are brief yet powerful. Lines like "hello," "anybody home," or even "I'm done with this" reveal Sam's state of mind without needless explanation. Norman's acting style embodies this stoic solitude. He brings Sam to life as a man who's come to expect isolation as his reality, making him feel heartbreakingly human. Norman excelled in this position, and I am thrilled Hideo Kojima gave him this role. In all my years of gaming, I haven't encountered a title that captures loneliness as powerfully as Death Stranding. This game compels you to cherish every interaction, remember each act of kindness, and notice when unseen strangers take small steps to ease your journey. Though you may traverse this desolate landscape alone, it doesn't mean others aren't walking the same path beside you. You may never see their faces, but that doesn't negate the understanding they hold for your struggles. Sometimes, when we yell into the void, all we hear is silence. Yet that silence doesn't imply isolation. It may simply mean that others, like you, are grappling with their own burdens. You'll never know if someone is feeling the weight of the same challenges unless you reach out. You'll never know if you're truly alone if you don't try.